Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1436, December 2nd, 2024. 63 degrees on this day in 1982. We still haven't reached the last 60 of the year. And 17 below on the morning of 1886.
Hail the Flashlight King.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your Flashlight King, Fireworks Commissioner, and the Keeper of Common Sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Do you know our friend Bill Stein up in Aiken was one of the winners of Garrison Keillor's Thanksgiving Limerick contest.
Oh.
Apparently, Garrison runs a limerick contest every Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And Bill Stein, how many were there? 1, 2, I think 3. And Bill Stein was one of 3 winners.
Congratulations.
Let's see.
What does Garrison give out for that? Do we know?
I wonder what he gets for that. Maybe
Garrison's
4
pretty
winners.
successful.
And here's Bill Stein's limerick that won. And Garrison Keillor is a man of the arts. He would know a good limerick.
Wait, there once was a man from Nantucket.
No. Thanksgiving is the time to be grateful, to forsake every thought that is hateful. It's hard to be jerky with mince pie and turkey while scarfing your third helping plateful.
Okay.
That's Bill Stein.
That's clever.
Isn't
Nice
that
job, Doc. Yeah.
Sarah Hutchinson won. I am grateful for being alive to have reached where I am, 85. I have family, friends, and when this year ends, I await 86 to arrive. I think Bill is right in that vein, don't you? And there's one more.
Does Garrison throw one down too, or does he just qualifies himself?
He's not listed here.
Okay.
And this is from Gene Paschke. The posters and pollsters are through. The lying and backstabbing, too. The signs are all gone from everyone's lawn, and I'm so grateful, aren't you?
Okay. I'll buy that one. Yeah. Very seasonal, though, for the
Matthew,
politics.
how awesome would it be if Garrison entered his own contest and then judged himself to be the winner?
No, use a fake name.
That would be great.
No,
I would like
that misses the whole point of I am better than you.
Or honorable mention.
You see where Biden pardoned his kid?
Yeah, and apparently I'm the only one in America that's shocked by this.
I'm not shocked.
Joe, he promised us he wouldn't.
I know, and I never really put much stock in that. So I don't know what to say. I'm not surprised, and he has spared his son Hunter from a prison sentence for felony gun and tax convictions, and he's reversed his past promises not to use the extraordinary powers of the presidency for the benefit of his family. Well, again, I'm just not surprised. I have some information.
Joe, what about all the unpaid bills at whorehouses all over America?
That's a good question.
Who's going to pay those?
Jonathan Turley, I believe, is an attorney, and he wrote an interesting piece about this pardon. And I learned some things about pardons that I did not know. The pardon power historically has not been a pristine power used by past presidents. It was used to benefit the political cronies of past presidents. President Warren Harding was even accused of selling pardons, including to mob enforcer Ignacio Lupo, known as Lupo the Wolf. Former President Clinton waited for the final days of the presidency to pardon his own brother, as well as a major Democratic donor. Who was Clinton's brother? The guy I don't remember.
Roger
Roger
Clinton.
Oh, Roger. Yeah,
That's
Roger.
right.
I think he was a
kind of
half brother, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
He was like the black sheep, huh?
Yeah.
He was like Billy Carter.
And Trump has already pardoned, previously pardoned Charles Kushner, the father of his son-in-law. He's going to be the ambassador to France, apparently.
Okay.
Now, John, was Roger the guy that brought all those cowboys to the train station, so to speak?
or was that somebody different?
Yeah, Roger was he was arrested for buying a bunch of cocaine from an undercover guy. That's why
what
he
it
was pardoned.
Jean-Claude Killy.
That ain't no crime.
That's awesome.
Jean-Claude Killy has some spin on it that I couldn't understand. She said, well, it became political and therefore he had to do it. Because apparently there was some agreement with the Justice Department to drop these charges, and then those charges didn't pass. The Justice Department didn't follow through. So she said he was merely following through on what the Justice Department apparently indicated they would do. And
How,
so,
Joe, how is President-elect Trump taking this news?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything.
He did something on Truth Social that basically said, I suppose now his next move will be to pardon the J6 defendants who have been political prisoners. So
Do you
Don't
suppose
give him any
Joe-
ideas.
Could President Trump pardon himself?
I don't know, but if
From his
anyone could
presidency?
figure out a way to do it, it would be him. He could figure out a way to do it. So, how is everybody? Did everybody have a nice Thanksgiving?
Why don't you mind your own business?
It was top drawer. Top drawer. I got my bird from Tanucci's. Made a perfect bird.
Did you pay for it?
I did. I paid full price.
Yeah.
Because I had to, because I was so late.
Well,
Here's a new one, Matthew.
What?
I went to a Thanksgiving dinner, and she cooked the turkey upside down. All the
Really?
juices ran into the breasts, and it was the most succulent white meat I have ever had in my life.
That's a great idea. Did she fill
That's
the,
all I know, Matthew. Don't
Okay.
ask any more questions.
Don't
I
forget
have-
to
I
fill
have
the
a-
cavity with fruit.
I have a question for you.
What?
Because you are the food guy. I saw a video of RFK cooking a turkey,
Okay.
and he dipped it into a vat of something.
Was he going to do fast deep fryer?
deep
Yeah,
fryer.
yeah.
I don't like that.
Okay, well, apparently it's a 50-50 shot that you'll burn your house down
Right.
Yeah.
when you do that.
Make sure you do that on your wood deck.
What is the problem? Why would your house catch on fire?
Well, there's splatter. There's grease splatter.
He
You
was
got-
doing it outside, to his credit. But somebody I just read did it in their garage. They burned down their $5 million house.
Yeah.
All the juices and everything immediately ignite the fire. So if you're not controlling how you dip, the speed,
Imagine-
etc.
Right.
Imagine you fill up a galvanized pail full of gasoline, you throw a match in there, then put your turkey in
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Well, I would do
Basically
it
what
down
you're
at
doing.
the end of the driveway on the street then.
Maybe over at the
Right.
neighbor's place.
Yeah.
I have my late brother-in-law used to do this for
Yeah,
us.
but see, that's why he's late.
No, he died from something else, but it was delicious. He did 2-3 years in a row for us. Just juicy. The bird was.
Is that the point that it retains moisture better?
It was very moist.
But
every
was the
time.
outside, was the skin like potato chips?
It was, yes, it was hard. It
Oh.
was, but I don't eat the skin anyway.
Yeah.
So
Well,
He'll talk to us tomorrow.
I guess I don't understand the urgency. You're leaving it a lot to risk, I think, when you cook that way.
I'm going to commit a blasphemy, an American blasphemy.
I'm going to agree with you too.
I don't give a bleep about turkey.
Yep.
Okay. If you're making it,
Give me
you
the
do, though.
dressing.
If you're making it, you do.
Give me the taters, but the turkey's an average.
You need to go to work for NPR or something. You're not one of us. What is wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
I worry
just-
about you more every day.
I
You're
don't care,
drifting-
and I don't like ham either. I
You're
don't.
drifting
so-
further
No, that's
away
just
from the
that's
fold.
un-American.
You're
You're
not a
losing me.
GLer anymore.
I don't like turkey, but ham. Oof.
Well, we
love
had ham and turkey, and I like the ham better than the turkey.
Yeah.
We had turkey and then sliced beef. Because you have to offer something other than just turkey.
You know what I like? A big Italian meal
Okay.
for Christmas.
You missed it. We had an Italian dinner night a couple Saturday nights ago.
We currently have a tied legislative outcome, don't we? We have a divided House in Minnesota. That could change, perhaps.
Okay.
Scott County officials said nearly 24 ballots were accidentally thrown away without being counted. And one of the candidates, as well as the Minnesota GOP, have filed a lawsuit requesting a new election. Early today. GOP members and candidate Aaron Paul filed an election contest lawsuit due to the lost ballots, which were thrown out and sent to the landfill.
Ooh.
I have a question.
Do we have miners right now
Why
looking
weren't
for
they
them?
recycled? It's paper. Where's the recycling?
You caught them. You caught them there.
They were thrown out and sent to the landfill where county officials could not retrieve them. Well, they probably didn't want to stand in all that
Guacamole.
rubbish and try to find them. As reported by 5 Eyewitness News, a recount and certification found DFL Brad Tabke won by 14 votes over Paul, the Republican challenger. GOP House Speaker designate Lisa DeMuth had said on social media last week that the lawsuit would be filed. The Minnesota House is currently tied 67-67, and that includes this contested race.
Okay.
Tabke has been considered the winner. So what's the worst that could happen is that the Republicans would have a one-seat majority if they have another
Right.
election, and this guy turns out to have won. Now, I don't know where to be on this. We're all preached to mightily by the usual suspects that every vote counts. Well, you threw away 20 of them.
Right. Those 20 did not count.
All Paul needed was 7 of those to beat Tabke.
Right.
I think they got to go through with another election. Staff, anyone?
I
Anyone?
agree.
That sounds like a better option than digging through the guacamole, yes.
No, they've been shredded. They're gone. You won't find
Didn't
them.
mention anything about shredding.
Oh, no, they've been shredded. They're gone. You'll never find those again. So a new election is the only way to work this out.
I sat in my office chair last night, and for some reason it tipped over backwards
I know why.
and threw me onto the floor, and my ear landed on my shredder.
I'll tell you why.
And my ear could have very well been shredded if it had fit in the shredding slot.
I know why
It
it did.
didn't fit in there.
I see it did
exactly
get
why.
some of your hair, though.
100%. Because I've observed you. What you do, you don't sit into a chair. You fall into a chair.
I plop.
You
Yeah.
plop. You fall into a chair, and you're trusting that your hind end is gonna get into the back part, because if it gets to the front part, you're going down.
Well, I went to the rear part, and she capsized.
You got to have a better grip, so to speak.
Well, you can be darn sure that when I sat in her today, I set myself down gingerly.
That's
So
what you have
do you
to do.
suppose that injury is going to cause you to branch off in these weird asides when you're in the middle of a story?
Good point.
Yes, it might.
It's like some kind of non sequitur disease.
Where was I? Oh, the contested
20
election.
20
You
ballots.
were in the
that got-
kitchen.
See, but Shredder reminded me of that.
Yes. Okay.
There's a method to my madness.
I see. I'm sorry.
So I have nothing more to add about that. We have tried to reach, and apparently we succeeded, but we can't talk to him till tomorrow.
They're having a special council meeting, so I probably have to talk to some lawyers.
Okay.
There's a special council meeting apparently being held in Emo, Ontario. Emo, Ontario is on the Minnesota border, just west of International Falls. I would imagine we have GLers in Emo, Ontario.
It's on the bend of the Rainy River.
Yep, and they got a dirt track there, or they got a track there, and
Yeah.
a restaurant. And,
Is the Rainy River where they have all those houseboats?
yes.
Oh, I love those.
It has a population of 1,300. It was found to have violated the Ontario Human Rights Code by the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario for refusing to proclaim June as Pride Month.
Wow. They're not playing around, are they?
The town was issued a citation for its failure to fly an LGBTQ2 rainbow flag, despite Emo not having a flagpole.
Oh, interesting.
Also, the town was fined $10,000. Officials from the town were ordered to complete mandatory human rights training. In other words, they were to attend a re-education camp. According to the report, the decision to cite Emo began with a 2020 incident in which the town was approached by a group called Borderland Pride, which issued a written request asking that Emo declare June Pride Month. The group's request also included a draft proclamation containing clauses such as pride is necessary to show community support and belonging for the LGBTQ AMP3123456 BMNOP individuals, and the diversity of sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression represents a positive contribution to society. I got news for you, LGBTQ people. The official position of Garage Logic is go ahead and be LGBTQ. That's fine with me. But shut the hell up. Who cares? It's over.
Right.
Borderland Pride also asked the city to fly an LGBTQ on and on and on flag for a week of your choosing. Mm-hmm. And now they didn't do that, so they got to go to the education camp. The request was defeated by a 3-2 vote at a later Emo Township Council meeting where Harold McQuaker, we're going to talk to him tomorrow. We'll get the results of this meeting that's happening as we speak up in Emo, where Mayor Harold McQuaker argued there was no flag being flown for the other side of the coin. There's no flags being flown for the straight people. The line was seen as particularly offensive to Human Rights Tribunal Vice Chair Karen Dawson.
Oh, my Lord.
Who said she found the remark demeaning and disparaging.
Oh,
of
horrible.
the LGBTQ
The humanity.
community, of which Borderland Pride is a member and therefore constituted discrimination under the code. Oh, you precious words I can't say. Dawson further argued that the remark was made in close proximity to McQuaker's no vote on the Borderland Pride request, making it meaning it constituted discrimination under the code. Oh, blow it out your very large exterior.
Do you have the quotes from Borderland Pride Director Douglas Judson?
I do not.
Oh, you're not going to believe this. Judson is an attorney, and he said he will continue to sue organizations and others until people stop attacking the LGBT community. I don't see what's happened here. This is me talking in Emo as an attack.
Either do I. What's the attack?
The people in Emo have actually said everybody's welcome here. This isn't about who gets to come into
You're
Emo.
You're not special because you're a trans.
So there hasn't been an attack, but this quote is what's giving me pause. Judson saying, as a lawyer who does this work, that means I'm going to start taking people's houses and their vehicles and their toys and draining their bank accounts and garnishing their wages because no one is going to stop behaving this way until there are real consequences.
Mother of God.
I can't believe that.
By the way, the main street of Emo looks very cool because it's literally on the Rainy River.
That would be cool.
The town
evidently,
is
then,
on the river.
Joe, in Ontario, you as a town or a community, you have to do what Big Daddy says you have to do, and if it means flying a flag, you have to do it, right? It's not that way in this country, is it?
It will be. Wow. Oh, well, maybe not now because of the election, but it was headed that way. Borderland Pride sought a $15,000 fine for the township, as well as a $10,000 fine for each of the 3 council members who voted no. Oh, my God. What country is this? Is this North Korea?
This is not our country.
Well, no, it's Canada.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. Yeah.
They want a $5,000 fine for McQuaker, the mayor. McQuaker and Emo's chief...
Who's getting the money?
The Borderline Pride. And probably this lawyer. McQuaker and Emo's... Did the 1959 Pontiac ambulance hearse race to Emo?
I can hear the siren.
McQuaker and Emo's chief administrative officer were also ordered to complete an online course. They might not even have a computer in Emo. An online course offered by the Ontario Human Rights Commission called Human Rights 101, and they need to provide proof of completion to Borderland Pride within 30 days. This is the inmates running the asylum.
Yeah, this is not good.
Honest to God, you can take your gender BS and you can just shove it up your behind.
Right there.
This isn't the first time. There's some place called Hamilton. They were fined in '95. London was fined $10,000 for not recognizing a Pride weekend.
London, Ontario, or London?
It just says London. It
Well,
doesn't.
London's a big town.
It's gotta be
Shouldn't
London,
Emo have like a $500 fine?
Did you mention the fact that they only have one flagpole in town, and that's the one that the Canadian flag flies on?
Yeah, they said they had no. I think they said we don't have an official flagpole. Well, I can't wait to talk to this guy. He's unavailable today. He works. I think he's a contractor. Isn't
Don't get your expectations too high. Also, Harold doing the online course is going to be interesting.
First,
My-
he's got to figure out how to sign on.
my very short conversation with him.
he? Harold McQuaker. Well, we can try. All we can do is try.
What's my password? Password 2.
That's incredible. That's truly incredible. All right, I'm here. Watch this. Watch. I'm doing it
What are you
today.
doing?
No, this will be the ad. I'm doing it right now.
Go.
I'm doing it right now.
Let's hear it.
First
Before
I
you
got-
do that, I'm really tempted to take the other side on this story just to see where it would lead you.
Okay, Preble.
What's the
Wow,
big deal?
Phoebes.
What's the big deal? Seriously. Why not just throw a flag up and say, I mean, give me your
Because
answer.
4 people, if there's 4 people with gender dysphoria in emo, I'd be surprised. You don't get to run the show. The hell with you. 6, 1, 2.
Were you
I
talking
can say
to
the
Kenny
number out
specifically
loud.
about the show, or were you?
2, 6, 3.
You know,
Oh, no, I'd have to give him my address.
the Banting House is in London, Ontario, and Frederick Banting developed the ideas that led to the discovery of insulin.
Can I
What
ask you
does that
something?
have to do with the
Can I ask you something?
LGBTQ?
What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Well,
Did you
London,
hit your
Ontario.
head on the shredder, Matt?
No, when he fell, I was over at his house looking at the village, and he knocked me into the radiator.
I was going to call Precision Garage Door, and I'm very serious. I will call them today because I need that big fat. What should we call that thing at the bottom of the garage door? The big fat
Big rubber seal.
Big seal. I need a big fatty seal because too much air is getting in, and that's among the things Precision Door MN can take care of. They serve western Wisconsin, the entire metro. They'll do everything, including a new door. Those on-site garage door consultations are free. They have new doors for every budget. They do everything, rollers, springs, apps, security hookups. They are the best. GLers have put this number into their contact, 612-263-6985. And if you choose to do this online, you can schedule a free on-site new door estimate online or book your appointment online. PrecisionDoorMN.com.
welcome.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
So here's a tip from the website, seafoamworks.com. It's a pretty simple one. Put some air in your tires. What's wrong with you? Okay, it doesn't say that specifically. It does say check your tires. It's a fairly, of course, obvious tip when these temperatures drop and the idiot light on the dash starts binging and flashing and bellowing. But properly inflated tires make that ride operate right. And after seeing all the wrecks this morning on the cameras, the MnDOT cameras, maybe check the tread wear too. New tires, snow tires. That'll make your life a lot easier. Here's another one. Change those spark plugs. Get a tune-up. Check the timing belt. Do occasional maintenance. One more, and this one comes from me. It doesn't even say this on the website. Throw some Seafoam motor treatment in the tank from time to time. Your daily driver will thank you and reward you by running better and lasting longer. This is useful advice on the many applications of Seafoam, and you can find it all for yourself right there on the website, seafoamworks.com. And Seafoam motor treatment, well, it can be found wherever fine automotive chemicals are sold all over the world, worldwide. A wonderful product in a world of bad gas, Seafoam.
Rook, look up Oromo, they're a people in in Africa. I don't know where in Africa. Oromo, and I hope I'm spelling it correctly. I got a note last week from a fellow who works for the Minnesota Department of Health. He has not said that I shouldn't use his name, but I'm not going to. And he sent me some irrefutable proof, so it's all on the up and up. But last week as we were leaving, he sent me the Thanksgiving admonishment that the employees got from the Minnesota Department of Health's Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Okay. Is it Oromo?
Yes, the Oromo people.
Just save it.
Okay.
All right. The admonishment from the MDH's Assistant Commissioner, Robsan Helkino Tura. And it was reminding the Department of Health employees to remember the Oromo people on Thanksgiving. And he himself apparently is an Oromo. Okay. Now you can tell me what they are.
They were originally nomadic, semi-pastoralist people who later would conquer large swaths of land during their expansions. Mm-hmm. After the settlement, they would establish kingdoms in the Gebe regions and dynasties in Abyssinia. The Oromo people traditionally used the Gada system as a primary form of governance. A leader is elected by the Gada system, and their term lasts 8 years, with an election taking place at the end of those 8 years. Although most modern Oromos are Muslims and Christians, 3% practice Wakafena, the native ancient Cushistic.
Okay, you can stop.
They look pretty primitive.
Ethiopia, northern Kenya.
Yeah. And that's all fine. Great. What's that have to do with American Thanksgiving?
Zero.
Well, and then I also have from the Minnesota Department of Health, the information for Dr. Tura. He is one of Walz's 173 diversity, equity, and inclusion employees.
Okay.
So I suppose he has to do something.
You got to justify, baby.
So he writes to the people about Oromo. And this is dated March 1st, 2023, because I wanted to find out how this guy was.
So a year ago.
This guy was, or my emailer told me how this guy was brought aboard. The Minnesota Department of Health announced today the appointment of Dr. Robson Helkino Tura as the new Assistant Commissioner for the department's Health Equity Bureau. And remember, you're all paying for this. Dr. Tura assumes the post held previously by Dr. Brooke Cunningham prior to her appointment in January as the Commissioner of Health. In his new role as Assistant Commissioner, Dr. Tura will oversee the department's Center for Health Equity, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion and the Office of American Indian Health. He will also serve as the department's lead for proactive and strategic health equity partnerships. That's meaningless language. It will lead the department's work to advance equity in its day-to-day services and programs.
Okay.
Dr. Tura, so the question I would have right off the bat, without even knowing any more than this, is this guy's been in this position now for more than a year.
Okay.
Right?
Probably
Is
Year
there
and a
any
half.
way to measure the department's work to advance equity in its day-to-day services and programs? Is there a chart? Are we keeping track? Has
Right.
this fellow accomplished that? And what does that mean?
Do we have the little red thing, the goal
How
marker?
do
where
we
you're
know
halfway
that that's
there?
happening? Dr. Tura previously served as the director of the department's Center for Health Equity, where he directed the development, implementation, and evaluation efforts to advance health equity. I have to just keep calming myself down. Before joining MDH, Dr. Tura served, I don't know if he's a medical doctor or what kind of doctor, but he's a doctor. Dr. Tura served as deputy director for Black Hawk County Public Health in Waterloo, Iowa. In that role, he drove health equity initiatives, strategic planning, and implementation of other programs, including disease surveillance and investigation, maternal and child health, and chronic disease prevention. How did he prove that he accomplished something, I wonder?
Yeah.
I hope he did. Those are all
I'm
important
not holding
things.
my breath. I'm not holding my breath.
Is one of the things they accomplished the paid leave thing that we're all going to deal with
I
now?
wonder. Let's keep reading.
Because there's if you go to their website, there's a whole long list of equity reports and publications that they've put out.
He also oversaw the county's first joint assessment of community health needs, including outreach to underrepresented populations. Prior to that role, he served as director of refugee and immigrants health programs for Embark, Iowa in Des Moines. He also has extensive experience in international health initiatives serving Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean. He earned his doctorate, here we go, in public health from the University of Iowa and has master's degrees in public health education and public health nutrition. Halkino brings a great mix of practical experience and skill to our equity work, and I am thankful for his willingness to step into this new role as part of our management team, Commissioner Cunningham said. The challenges of recent years demonstrated how the health or lack of health in any community or individual impacts the health of all. Advancing health equity is essential to ensuring that all Minnesotans have the opportunity to be healthy as they can be. Halkino's expertise and leadership will help us move forward. I envision a public health system that promotes health equity and combats the root causes of health disparities, Dr. Tura said. I'm not being facetious when I say, isn't that very similar to what RFK advocates?
Yeah.
He wants you to read. He wants to read the ingredients
Right.
on cereal boxes to
Yep.
you. Well, isn't that the same thing?
Sounds like it.
I've worked to eliminate health disparities all my career, and I look forward to leading this mission-critical bureau to advance equity for all Minnesotans. May I go through this again and just underline some words?
You're going to break it down?
Well, they're all the same. In other words, if we looked up whoever is the in charge of equity, diversity, and inclusion for the Department of Transportation, I bet you'd find these phrases: proactive and strategic health equity, partnerships, advance equity, programs,
Wait. I got some keywords here.
development, implementation, evaluation. How are they evaluated? And that role, driving health equity initiatives, strategic planning is a big one. Implementation of programs is a big one.
Any tools?
They got to have tools.
Barriers?
Tools and barriers is good. That's
Collaborative?
not in here. Collaborative, I think, is in here. Including outreach. You got to have
yeah,
outreach.
yes.
You got to have outreach to underrepresented populations. Let's see. Extensive experience in international health initiatives. He earned his doctorate. Halkino brings up great mix of practical experience and skill. I'm thankful for his willingness to step in this new role of our management team. The challenges of recent years, advancing health equity, and ensuring that all Minnesotans have the opportunity to be as healthy as they can be. How could that possibly be a function of state government? Doesn't everyone walking the earth have an opportunity to be as healthy as they care to be?
Yes.
What role does this Walls appointment have, or Walls hire, or Department of Health hire have? What possible role can they play in ensuring that Minnesotans have the opportunity to be as healthy as they can be?
It's gobbledygook.
Well,
It's their role to point it out. And I don't see it going any further than that.
well, it can't, because what can they do?
Here, let me read to you from their website.
Yeah.
Research shows that the conditions needed for health are peace, shelter, education, food, income, and social justice. You don't say.
Really?
Really?
Well, they're failing that miserably. There are lines and blocks and blocks long lines of people living in tents and taking drugs and shooting each other.
Right.
They are the unhoused. Bless the unhoused.
Okay,
Joe.
but wouldn't the state more accurately have a role in attempting to deal with that? Because those people are squandering their opportunity to have a healthy life.
Aren't they asking certain Minnesota or Minneapolis, St. Paul citizens to let them into their houses?
Well, I don't
and
think
house-
they've reached that point. It's
In
just
short,
all,
health is-
Oh, here's another one. Mission critical. That's a good one. Mission critical.
It's funny you would bring that up because the paragraph continues. In short, health is created where people live, work, and play.
Really?
Minnesota needs to address health disparities as part of a broad spectrum of public investments in housing, transportation, education, economic opportunity, and criminal justice.
Okay, so let's say John Doe is healthy, and among his among the lifestyles he's chosen is he doesn't smoke,
Okay.
he eats well. Then I'll hear about food deserts.
Ah.
He doesn't smoke, he eats well, he doesn't drink, and he exercises.
Doesn't sound like he's a lot of fun to hang around with.
Maybe not, but that's neither here nor
Okay.
there. And then John B. Is his neighbor. And he smokes, drinks, eats poorly, and doesn't exercise. What role is the state supposed to play in that?
It's his choice. It's John B.'s choice to do whatever he wants. The state
this-
can't. Go ahead,
Well,
Ken.
at this point, it's just to give him the guilt trip, right? Are we going to take it beyond that? Force him to act and live in a certain way? Is
But
that
he
what you're
doesn't
saying?
need taxpayers paying a non-existent job title to do that. His peers and his family will give him the guilt trip. You don't need the state.
I don't need the state.
It'd be a lot different if I ran it. My first message would start something like, "Listen here, lard ass." That would be my jump off point.
This is such.
an
There's
attention grabber.
173 of these people.
Yeah.
They're each making a hun. What's 173 times a hun? 1.73
like
million?
4 trillion.
2
or
million,
30
100,000,
billion.
trillion?
It's a lot.
Is that a gargantuan number?
Yeah, it's a big one.
173 times 100. What do you get? Come on, let's go here. Work that calculator. Show me what you got.
17,300,000.
17 million that we're paying. God only knows what we're paying for, but that's among the things we're paying for. Because there's 173 of these people who have these wonderful gigs. It's like the superintendent's club.
Yeah.
This guy moved doing the same thing in Iowa to a bigger pool.
I'm in.
So he comes up here. He picked up 50 to 75 grand more a year in vacation. In salary, and he's probably got better health benefits and vacation.
Are we the
And he's
mid-level?
not doing anything. No offense, doctor. There's probably some fields of life where you'd be really good, and I'm not disparaging you personally, but this is all BS. It's just absolute BS.
What's a step up from Minnesota? Illinois, or we go out east?
Bigger state.
D.C. maybe?
Yeah, bigger state. Well, anyway, his Thanksgiving wish for his employees was to remember the Oromo people.
I'll never forget them.
We did at Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. Bow your head.
We did. We talked about that.
I think their sole purpose here is just studying, researching, and then writing reports. Beyond that, I don't see them having any usefulness whatsoever. They've covered virtually every angle they possibly can with equity here, from what I'm reading on their website. But they have not made any laws or done anything constructive or interesting.
The closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, or the closer you get to the country's capitals of each state, the more likely you are to discover that the voters have surrendered their cities to professional activists who want more and more and more of your money, not necessarily to take care of what they should be taking care of, but to expand their empire of behavioral change. The least diverse city council in America are the 7 women on the St. Paul City Council. I keep meaning to do this. I don't know how many of them are married, but I would say the majority of the 7 are not married, don't have kids. Many of them are renters. They live lives that are not like the lives lived by the people who are paying them. And all they do is spend more and more money to advance their Mysterian empire of behavioral change. In the meantime, on Saturday night, driving from Highway 61 all the way to Lexington on Warner Road or Shepherd Road, whichever you want to call it, not one single streetlight was working. And that's a stretch of road, 55 mile an hour speed limit, 50 mile an hour, that should be lit. Now, I did hear there was an accident apparently Friday night where somebody in St. Paul ran into a transformer station. That resulted in a fire at Patrick McGovern's.
I got some great footage of that.
That did not destroy Patrick McGovern's, but it was a result of this transformer being hit. Now, for all I know, that transformer also affected all the lights for those miles from Highway 61 westbound all the way into St. Paul and beyond. No lights worked. Zero. Now, that was either an electrical fault that's been solved by now, I don't know, or it's just another example of the least diverse city council in America not being on top of things like the infrastructure of something as simple as lights. And we all know the lights also have been getting stripped of their copper wire.
What kind of world are we living in?
Well,
what the hell's going on?
Maybe that's why they're raising your taxes, so they can buy some light bulbs, get those things up and running.
Well,
again.
I'm going to bring this full circle by wrapping this up by pointing out that what Melvin Carter has done, and I'm sure Fry has done it, I'm sure all the mayors, the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, have done it. They've laid on cabinet people that have grown exponentially, and they all have job titles like Director of Equity and Inclusion. None of that can be seen. None of that can be measured. These are just means of paying people. And the taxpayer in St. Paul, in every city, the taxpayers in St. Paul continue to have more and more money taken from them. When God knows how much money could be saved by stripping the mayor's office down to 5 people instead of 30 people. And unfortunately, those people will then have to go get real jobs, but that's what they should do. And so St. Paul and Minneapolis, they have just as many people that probably would have given you an Oromo Thanksgiving update as the state of Minnesota's health department. So that's what you're paying for. You're not paying for street lights and curbs and water and whatever. You're paying for whimsical and capricious Mysterian dreams of basically nothing. And it results in people getting paid. We had the pleasure of announcing Wednesday the winner of the Center of the American Experiments Golden Turkey Award, which was the design and creation of the new state flag and seal.
Ah, yes.
And they're on that great trophy now. Keith Hisdahl got a trophy together. It has fake $100 bills on it.
Yeah, I get fooled every time.
And I did. I took one. I
every
took
time.
one.
Yep.
I took one. I thought it was real.
Right.
Yeah. Imagine my surprise.
Right.
Yeah. When you go to Speedway and they go, "What's this?"
Right. What are you doing here, pal?
That's and every year, of course, the Center of the American Experiment issues a Golden Turkey Award. I hope you go to their website. They're going to be coming up today on the show because Bill Glahn has done a wonderful roundup of all of the Omar Fateh scandals that plague Omar Fateh, who has just announced his desire to run for mayor of Minneapolis. I'm sure the conventional news gathering institutions in town will not do that because it might offend somebody to point out that this guy's basically a crook. So you have to rely on people like the Center of the American Experiment. It's AmericanExperiment.org.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Here's John Heidt.
Thank you, Joe.
And may I say that before the show, I mentioned a guitar player, the obituary of a guitar player that John Heidt had never heard of.
He's playing you.
It's the first time in my life that I ever brought up a musician that John didn't know his life history.
John just didn't
was a
want to
guy
talk
named
music.
Vic Frick, and he's responsible for the James Flick. Vic
That's why
Flick.
you didn't know him. You don't know Frick.
And he died. He's responsible for, among other things, the James Bond theme, the guitar you hear, and the guitar player. Yeah.
Yes, and he was a big studio player in London in the 60s. He was
Yep.
on a lot of records.
Yep.
Give me a top 40 song I'd know.
Anything by Jimmy Page.
The Sun Don't Shine Anymore by the Walker Brothers. He played on some Herman's Hermit stuff. They were big hits, Kenny. Come on, get out a little more, will you?
Vic Flick.
Come on, Ken.
Flick, right, John?
Flick. F-L-I-C-K.
Vic
Like-
Flick.
Vic Flick.
Like Christmas Story.
It's kind of fun to
That's
say.
right.
Isn't it?
Dick Flick,
Vic Flick.
Vic Flick.
playing the hits.
Yep.
Anyway, this news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Story you already talked about, Joe, but worth mentioning again, just days after Scott County officials said 24 ballots were accidentally thrown out without being counted in the race for House District 54A. The candidate, the GOP candidate, and the Minnesota House GOP have filed a lawsuit. They want a new election. Aaron Paul filing an election contest lawsuit due to the lost ballots. A recount and certification found DFLer Brad Tabke won by 14 votes over Paul. The outcome of all this could have a big impact on the state legislature since the Minnesota House is currently tied at 67-67, and that includes the results of the District 54A race. So if there were a new election and Aaron Paul won, the GOP would then have the lead.
I want a
More
new
members
election.
in the House.
I want a new
You
election.
have to, don't you? I don't
It
know
was
what
so
else you can do.
close. Come on. You
Yeah.
keep telling us, all you election people, every vote counts. Let's go here. Let's have another election.
I agree.
I haven't. Did more than one person discover that these ballots were missing? Was this like three people scratching their heads going, hey, wait a minute? Or was it just one guy?
I don't even know how they were discovered as missing.
I don't either.
And if you were that one guy, would you say anything?
Yes. Well,
Would
it
you?
depends. It depends what your affiliation
You're
is.
also the kind of guy that if you found a wallet that had $5,000 in it, you'd return the wallet.
I
right?
would.
Yeah. See, that's your problem.
Yeah.
I had, as long as you brought that up, Kenny, I had a situation about 2 weeks ago. I went to an ATM,
Yeah.
put in my card. Before I hit any buttons, 220s came flying out.
Yeah.
Before I touched
Those are
anything.
yours, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, then I did my thing. I got $100. There's 140 sitting there, but I only get charged for 100. I should have kept all those, right?
What'd you do with
What
it?
do you mean you should have?
Well, I
What'd
did.
you do?
I kept
good.
them.
Yeah,
I kept
okay.
them because I thought if I
that's
take them up
common
to
surface
Wired, right?
savings and loan.
You're wired right.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't
did you
know.
look around? Was there somebody
I-
that...
I looked around to see if anybody had used the machine, and just kind of held them up in the air, like, hey, what's
And
this?
you didn't get a receipt?
No, there was no receipt for that 40, just my 100.
Well, I think that's your money.
Did you look around and see a lady maybe crying on
Weeping.
on a bus bench? And
Yeah.
Why? What's wrong? Well, I just lost $40, so you gave her 10 of the 40 you just got, right?
Didn't do that.
Okay.
In other news, State Senator Omar Fateh has made it official, announcing this morning he will run for mayor of Minneapolis against incumbent Jacob Fry. According to his campaign website, he has held a seat in the state Senate District 62 since 2020. He posted he is running for mayor to, quote, achieve the vibrant, loving city we know Minneapolis can be. Fateh says he holds a master's degree in public administration, previously worked as a community specialist for Minneapolis, where he worked to improve the city's outreach to Eastern African communities.
We'll go through his alleged crimes after the news.
Oh, come on now.
No, we'll do them after the news.
as
There's
a
too
Not
many.
crystal
former-
clear?
I got them right here. From
As a
Bill
former
Gong.
resident of Minneapolis, I just hope Omar really wins strong. Really, really. Just
Serve
sweeps the
everybody right,
election.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Council news that happened last week. It sat on the back burner here. We didn't talk about it. Jeremiah Ellison, city council member, announced last week he will not seek re-election to represent Ward 5 in North Minneapolis. Ellison is a mural artist who rose to prominence during protests over police killings of black men. Elected to the council in 2017.
Mural artist, my ass.
Aren't we all mural
Aren't we
artists?
all?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Ellison was one of the architects of a 2020 pledge by 9 council members to begin the process of ending the Minneapolis Police Department. That is their words, not mine. That led to a failed ballot question the following year that would have restructured public safety, but Ellison was narrowly reelected that year and again last year, becoming the most senior member of a majority coalition on the council that sits to the political left of Mayor Jacob Fry and often clashes with the mayor. Ellison is the son of Attorney General Keith Ellison and Minneapolis School Board member Kim Ellison. All 13 city council seats and the mayor will be on the ballot next year.
Two things. This means that Ellison got bumped to a better gig. Somebody connected got him just a better gig.
Yeah.
Or two, because he ain't going to make any money painting murals.
Right.
Or two, this gives the North Side a chance to get a legitimate representative. I hope
That's optimistic.
it is. It's optimistic on my part, but maybe someone very legitimate and knowledgeable could become the council person for this seat that Ellison held.
You have
Because
to live-
he was worthless.
You have to live in the north side, obviously, to
Yeah.
get that gig, right?
Well, there's
So-
people that could do it.
So it couldn't be Reverend Timothy. I don't think he lives in Minneapolis.
No.
There will be a truth in taxation public hearing in St. Paul tonight, Joe. That'll happen at 6 p.m. Residents can voice their questions or concerns about the 7.9% property tax increase proposed by Mayor Melvin Carter. In August, Carter proposed a $855 million budget for 2025, but the Minneapolis City Council is St. Paul City Council is looking to trim that proposal by $6 million, including a 5% cap on the property tax increase. Council President Mitra Jalali says she and her colleagues have heard from citizens about the proposed property tax increase. Under Carter's proposal, the average home would see an $11 a month increase in property taxes, which he said the
BS.
city needs to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Here's what I would say about that in all seriousness. The city or the residents of St. Paul need to hold a rally, but in a much larger venue. even renting out the Xcel Energy Center, for example,
Okay.
that would inspire people to attend. 15 people are going to show up in the council chambers tonight. They're small. They don't hold a lot of people. They're not that easy to get to. Have a large venue with weeks' notice in advance, and then the council people and the mayor should be there attending, and do this the right way. It's time to turn the city around, and you're not going to do it with the 15 people who show up in the council chambers.
I have a really good idea. I think this should be held out in public, outside, much like pep rallies before our homecoming in high school, where we would have a pallet bonfire.
Yes.
And we would burn an effigy of the opposing team. So you need to burn an effigy. I think that would really, really get people riled up.
No, I would burn our property tax proposals.
There you go.
Let me ask you a serious question, though.
I am serious. There should be a bigger venue. It should be well advertised, and I guarantee you'd get 15,000, 16,000 people.
My question is about something you said earlier in the program. You said, and this, you're so innocent, naive, and apple pie and baseball. Do you really think the mayor could run the city with only 5 advisors or helpers?
George Latimer had 2.
Yep.
That was back in the 1800s.
Was back in the mid-70s.
Yeah, that's a
Then Kenny, I'll turn
ago.
your question around. If you can't, why is that?
Because life has changed. There's more people. There's more things going on.
No, there isn't. St. Paul's population is declining.
Well, that's because
No, it's declining.
of baseball and apple
No,
pie.
no.
Chevrolet.
And the argument he would be made for not being able to run it with 5 people is because he would defend these offices he's created where people work but don't really do anything. He would defend that. They
In other
support
news-
him.
Other news, Kenny, I'll try to help you out here.
Yeah,
In
bail
other
me out,
news,
John.
Minneapolis.
Let me close my mouth.
Okay.
Okay.
Minneapolis police are conducting a homicide investigation after a woman was found dead from an apparent gunshot wound Sunday afternoon. At about 12:30 in the afternoon, police responded to a report of an unresponsive person lying on the ground near the 3300 block of 10th Avenue South. An initial investigation indicated family members of the victim used cell phone location info to find the 25-year-old woman who they had not heard from since Saturday night. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara said, "My heart aches for this family. The thought that a family member is murdered is unbearable. We ask anyone with information to immediately contact our investigators. The victim's identity will be released by the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office at a later date."
Didn't we have a shooting death on the Green Line, Hamlin University?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think the murders are down a bit this year. I think they
A bit.
are. Yeah.
You may have seen this in the Star Tribune over the weekend. Facing budget deficits, declining enrollment, and challenges hiring teachers, some school districts in Minnesota have begun looking at a shift to a 4-day school week. Shortening the school week is an approach that has gained traction in recent years as a way to save money, boost student attendance, and improve staff retention. In 2019, about 650 districts across the U.S. used the schedule. 5 years later, that number has risen to 900, according to the Associated Press. In Minnesota, 7 districts operate on a 4-day week, although in recent months, several more have assessed the possibility. School districts in Chatfield, St. Charles, Byron, and Lewiston-Altour have all considered it with mixed responses. The latest district to make the switch was Carleton Public Schools near Cloquet, which adopted the schedule for this school year. With about 300 students, the district has faced major headwinds in recent years, including declining enrollment and failed efforts to consolidate with a larger district. The superintendent there, Danita Steppen, said the dire situation had the district thinking about the change when earlier this year the Department of Education resumed accepting applications for districts weighing a 4-day week. As part of the process, the district put out a survey and found that 78% of parents and 99% of teachers supported the switch. The early results have been promising, according to Steppen. Well, 40 students left the district through open enrollment at the start of the year. Another 45 transferred in, primarily, she said, because of the flexible schedule.
I bet the anti-capitalist Minneapolis Teachers Union would love it to get the same money for 4 days. even though they're anti-capitalist.
Plus, I was going to say, just the
Wait a minute. If they're going to work 4 days, they should get pay reductions.
They should.
They won't, but they should.
But just what those kids needed, another day off to do nothing.
That's right.
Did anybody bring up what the parents are supposed to do with their little rugrats on
Said
Fridays
the parents
or
are
Monday?
approving it.
78%.
Yeah.
So are you taking Fridays off then? You're not working?
I have no idea.
How's that work if
I have
you've got
no
a third
idea.
grader?
I don't know.
Daycare?
I don't know, Kenny. I don't know the
I
answer.
think he does know.
Here's
I
the
think
deal.
You do know
we
the
get
answer.
we get about 400 pallets. We get about 20 gallons of gasoline, some bottle rockets.
I'll throw my property tax proposal on the fire.
We're gonna need some turkey legs and about 900 gallons of schnapps, and we'll get these
We'll need
people
more than that.
riled up.
We'll need
We're
more
gonna
than
get
that.
these people riled up.
You know, the rule of thumb is you shouldn't pay more than 5% of your income for property taxes. That's a rule of thumb. Everyone in St. Paul should look at their property tax and see if it's 5% of their income.
In national and international headlines, Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter Biden last night, a reversal for the president. Who
And only
repeatedly-
Kenny is shocked. Only Kenny.
Joe,
Only
he
Kenny.
promised, Joe.
Yeah, that's right.
He repeatedly said he would not use his executive authority to pardon his son or commute his sentence. In his statement, the president said, "I believe in the justice system, but as I have wrestled with this, I also believe raw politics has infected the process and led to a miscarriage of justice. And once I made this decision this weekend, there was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision." Hunter Biden was scheduled to be sentenced December 12th for his conviction on federal gun charges. He also was set to be sentenced December 16th in a separate criminal case in which he pleaded guilty to federal tax evasion charges in September. Senior White House official told NBC News, which was the first to report on the pardon decision, the president decided over the weekend to grant his son a pardon and began to inform his senior aides on Sunday.
You think old Papa Joe has seen that picture of his kid laying in bed covered in cocaine with $3 Annie on his arm? You suppose old Dad has seen that photo?
How about the one in the bathtub with the bubble bath?
Yeah.
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 Bubble bath.
Yeah.
Speaking of pardons, President-elect Trump said Saturday he intends to nominate real estate developer Charles Kushner, father of Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to serve as ambassador to France. The elder Kushner was pardoned by President Trump in December 2020 after pleading guilty years earlier to tax evasion and making illegal campaign donations. Prosecutors alleged that after Charles Kushner discovered his brother-in-law was cooperating with the feds in an investigation, he hatched a scheme for revenge. Kushner hired a prostitute to lure his sister's husband,
What?
then arranged to have the encounter in a
is
New
like a-
Jersey.
It's a sitcom, John. You're quoting a sitcom. This isn't real.
Who wrote
No,
this?
they went to a motel room, the brother-in-law and the hooker, and it was recorded with a hidden
It's
camera.
not a sitcom, it's a Sopranos.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And
Yeah.
scam tape.
And then Charles Kushner sent the tape to his sister. Kushner eventually pleaded guilty to 18 counts, including tax evasion and witness tampering. He was sentenced in 2005 to 2 years in prison, the most he could get under a plea deal, but less than what Chris Christie, remember him? He was the U.S. attorney for New Jersey at the time and later governor and Republican presidential candidate had sought. President Trump over the weekend saying Charles Kushner will be the ambassador to France.
That's
Joe.
great.
Was it the camera, the bad picture of the general and the one eye kept following around during the hotel room?
Yeah, on the wall.
As Johnny Akers is hiding behind the drapes over there.
Joe, the last two stories he's read,
Yeah.
this story and the Biden pardon story,
Yeah.
how am I supposed to have any hope or confidence or even care one little bit about what happens?
You're not. You're not supposed
No,
to have any.
it's impossible.
It's pretty much over.
I got more, Kenny, if you want
Oh,
more.
lay it on me. You know,
Well,
let's go.
President-elect this weekend announcing he plans to nominate Kash Patel as FBI director. Kash,
I did read this story. Yeah.
He's an insider with President Trump, of course, and he's threatened to fire top echelons and shut down the agency's headquarters, along with investigating members of the media and the political field who fought against Trump.
He's not come with the cash Cattell, is he? He doesn't have that nickname, does he?
John, I am not a big believer in the. No, not believer. I don't have a lot of confidence in the FBI at this point, John.
I understand.
So
Politicians from both main parties took to the Sunday talk shows to express views on Patel, whom Trump announced on Saturday as his pick. The move is dependent on the incumbent chief, Christopher Wray, who Trump himself placed in the job in 2017, either being fired or resigning. It's already clear that confirming Patel through the U.S. Senate likely is less to be smooth sailing. Mike Rounds is a Republican senator from South Dakota, and he said Patel will face a tough confirmation battle. He sang the praises of the existing FBI director in an interview with ABC's This Week. He said that Wray, who still has 3 more years in his 10-year term to serve, is a good man, adding he had no objections about the way he's doing his job right now. Senator also emphasized the separation of powers between President and Senate, signaling possible trouble for Patel. Round said he gave presidents the benefit of the doubt, but also emphasized we have a constitutional role to play. That is the process.
One exciting thing about Patel is he said he'd release the Epstein names and the P. Diddy names.
Oh, really?
That's kind of fun.
No, that's the only reason I would pay attention.
That's kind of fun.
Everything else is just government
I don't like
stuff.
the idea that he's going to start nailing reporters.
all of these nominees have to be confirmed, though. Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
So
It's kind of tough when Egseth is getting a bad word from his own mom. That's a little rough. When Ma says he treats women poorly.
Did he not
Mom
show
said
up?
that.
Did he not show up for Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
Or
Yeah, there's some type of motivation
He
there.
burned the house down trying to pan fry it or whatever.
yeah,
Google.
there's something else involved there.
Did you see last night's New Yorker article about him?
No.
Apparently he was in charge of a veterans group.
Yeah.
And during that time, there was a whistleblower who said he was basically drunk enough times that they had to carry him to hotel rooms.
Really?
That he would go into bars and chant, kill the Muslim.
You
been
should
there.
have
I'm
seen
not throwing
me.
stones.
Yeah.
The early days of the Hubbard Christmas party.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Right.
Are you going to be Secretary of Defense, though? I think probably.
Well,
is the key question.
I don't
there.
think he'll get affirmed.
You're up there
Yeah,
in
I don't
304, aren't you? Okay, I'll be right up. If I can find the elevator.
Many
Yeah, it turns
shoppers
out
on
I
Black
couldn't
Friday.
find it.
Many shoppers on Black Friday ditched the mall crowds the day after Thanksgiving and spent more money online than ever before. Big retailers relied on deep discounts to draw in sizable traffic. Shoppers spent a record $10.8 billion online on Friday, over 10% more than they did last Black Friday, according to data from Adobe Analytics, which tracks retail transactions. That's more than double what consumers spent in 2017. More people have grown comfortable with shopping on smartphones and with the use of mobile wallets, buy now, pay later options, and AI-powered chatbots that serve as shopping helpers to help consumers hunt for specific items. Worldwide, 69% of all Black Friday purchases came from mobile devices, up from 68% last year, reported the software company Salesforce.
I did something on Black Friday that I have never, ever done before. It was my first time. I went to a store, Fleet Farm.
I know. I talked to you. He was
11
in
a.m.
Fleet Farm.
11 a.m. Friday morning. And when you're at a Fleet Farm, there's the automotive checkouts, right? There's usually a couple checkouts down by the auto, and then there's the regular checkouts.
Yeah.
Both areas had lines all the way to the back.
Did you
of the
then
store.
leave?
The roommate was with. I gave her my credit card, and I said, "See you later."
Yep. You waited in the truck?
We went there in two different. We go everywhere in two vehicles, Joe. So it's not a problem. I just went the hell home.
Oh, God. Honest to God.
Did you buy anything on Amazon over the weekend?
No. Although there's a special, apparently there's a sale price on these.
Weather mats?
No, what do I have? A coffee machine. Is it espresso or Nespresso? Nespresso
makes
Well, she
espresso.
underwent some double duty the last 3 months. There were some visitors,
okay,
and that
yeah.
baby was grinding a lot.
Oh, okay.
And I said, why don't you get a new one and have it in backup? And then when this one dies, because it will, then the new one's ready to go.
Well,
So
the surprise element of surprise is gone.
I wasn't looking for it as a present.
Oh,
You gave me a great gift idea. I always have an extra coffee machine that I
Yeah.
carry with me to hotel rooms.
Yeah.
I think I might gift that. I might just give that as a gift. It's
To
only had
yourself.
about
you mean the one you left in the hotel room?
300 pots of coffee run through it.
Yeah.
A week of major movie releases has propelled the holiday stretch to the highest-grossing Thanksgiving weekend ever at the box office. First, viewers packed theaters to sing with the Witches of Oz and watch a vengeful gladiator face the horrors of the ancient Roman Colosseum, and then return to the big screen to follow Moana's treacherous seafaring journey.
Yeah.
What are
That
you
trio
talking
of films.
I can review two of them for you. Wicked.
Oh, really?
Well, I didn't go, but I'm repeating what I heard from the troops. Wicked, fantastic.
I love the
if
play.
you're 12.
No.
And then Moana, thumbs down.
Thumbs down?
They
Oh,
didn't
really?
like- even the little kids didn't
Brock was
like it.
trying too hard to
It was,
Are they
push it through.
cartoons?
weak script. Moana's animation of some kind. I don't,
Yeah.
Anime?
I don't know, Kenny. Moana is a little Polynesian girl who is not a cartoon. It's a animation thing.
A little more than that claymation
Don't
stuff.
help Kyle. Don't help Kyle. Just let him. Just let him struggle.
It's,
It's much better.
yeah.
I love his description.
And then and she jumps around on rocks. and-
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
What
yeah.
What is the
Thanks,
controversy with Wicked? What are they trying to say? It's gay or it's anti-gay?
The witch in real life is a black actress.
Okay.
Who's queer, but I don't know that has anything to
It has
do with
nothing
the movie.
to do with this. Well, it
Yeah.
didn't with the play.
I don't know anything
She's
about
got
it
great
except
pipes.
the kids thought that it was just fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
It's
'Cause they like
only the
musicals.
first half, and it's 2.5 hours.
What is?
Yeah.
The movie.
Oh yeah, this is part
Wicked?
one.
It's only the first act of the show, and it's 2.5 hours.
What is?
Wicked.
Wicked.
Is there
Well, I don't
nudity?
want your review.
There's
I'm not giving you a
I'm
review.
getting
He
a
asked the-
review from people who saw it.
No,
Is
he's
it
just
to-
stating
is there
fact on how lengthy the movie is.
There
Full
will be
frontal?
another
That
Wicked
didn't
next
bother
year.
him how long it was.
Rook asked what the problem people were having was, and I answered Rookie's question.
Is this a kids movie?
No, you see some green boobs.
I don't know.
You ever seen green boobs?
No.
Well, I'm willing
Star
to.
Trek. I mean, come on. I've been to a convention.
Right, right.
I got to tell you, the previews, Jeff Goldblum looks like he's a blast in that movie. Anyway.
Oh,
let's
he's
move
the
on.
wizard, right?
He's the wizard.
Oh, don't
yes.
spoil it
Jeff
for me.
Goldblum
Okay.
Plays the wizard. The other film, by the way, we were talking about was Gladiator 2, which brought in, if I can scroll down here, $44 million. Wicked, $117.5 million, and Moana 2, $221
Now, Gladiator, that has underlying gay tones, right?
Yeah, a
I
little
don't know.
crazy locker room scene.
That's naked men rubbing oil on each
Right.
other.
I guess. I don't know.
It's pretty tough to beat Gladiator 1, though.
Yeah,
that was
why
a
do
good
we
flick.
Is that Russell Martin or Russell
Crowe.
Crowe?
Yeah, that was
Martin's a
good.
catcher.
He's
And who's the bad
jam-packed.
guy? He's a great bad guy. The guy that was the emperor.
I don't know.
Liam Neeson.
Stop this now.
The goofball who,
Oh, who was
Daniel
it?
Craig.
No. Dang it. Okay.
Steve
Joaquin
Joaquin,
Phoenix?
Joaquin,
The guy with the lip.
oh my God.
No Country for Old Men, that guy?
Gotta look here.
No.
No, we're not.
Well, with
we
the
can't
air
go
gun.
anywhere.
Brooke, why don't
Javier
you-
Bardem?
No.
John,
Roger
are you
Moore?
out of news?
I'm not. I got a bunch more. But
Well,
we got-
one more.
Okay. Let's go to hapless
Yeah,
criminals.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
I
Yes.
said that.
We'll stop talking.
In St. Louis, hapless criminals. 14-year-old suspect accidentally shot his 16-year-old accomplice when they tried to hijack a car last week. According to police, the teenagers approached a 73-year-old man who was sitting in a parked car. The teens pointed a gun at him and demanded his keys. The man took the keys, threw them through the window into a nearby open field. The man and the 14-year-old who was holding the gun, they got into a struggle, during which the teenager fired the gun, shooting his buddy in the leg.
Oh,
16-year-old was
Rick,
taken
what
to
are
the
you doing?
hospital. 14-year-old was taken into custody. 73-year-old man suffered minor injuries and refused medical treatment.
and could not stop smiling.
Well, on that note, two contenders for the Gumption County Institute Criminally Incompetent of the Year. Timothy Baker was in jail in Waco, Texas, hours after he had escaped while being held. He escaped after being held for aggravated robbery. His getaway had taken him to Baylor University, where he broke into a building in order to find a change of clothes from his orange prison suit. The building was the Findy Arts Center, where Baker raided a costume closet He apparently thought he would be inconspicuous if he changed into a 19th century green wool outfit with rubber galoshes that made him look like a leprechaun, according to the Waco sheriff.
I had him as a court jester, but
Baker
okay.
was spotted on the street and rearrested. Said the chairman of the theater department, he really stood out. And another contender is in Tulsa, Oklahoma, suspected shoplifter Jacob Wise, 18, cleverly removed security tags from clothes he was allegedly stealing, but the alarm went off anyway as Wise strolled through the exit door. He had merely put the removed tags in his pocket. Boom, boom, boom. So, these are contenders for Gumption County
What's up,
Criminally
dummy?
Incompetent Criminal of the Year.
Oh, my God.
We'll be back shortly.
Wait, what do we got?
No, since you didn't bring it up and John didn't bring it up, perhaps the most legendary of all motorcycle riders to ever walk the planet, Malcolm Smith, died on the 26th due to complications from Parkinson's disease. He was 83. 6 Baja 1000 motorcycle victories. That's 1,000 miles straight. You go down and back. 8 ISDA gold medals. An impressive list of off-road accomplishments. He was also one of the main stars of the Bruce Brown movie On Any Sunday. He owned a multiple line of motorcycle dealerships called Malcolm Smith Motorsports. He also had gear, MS Racing, MSR. I wore a lot of MSR gear over the years, and he was really, seriously, the king of two wheels, and we lost him on
You
the
think he
26th.
knew Steve McQueen?
Oh, they were close friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Close friends.
All right. Wonderful. Well, not wonderful. He died.
Rest in peace, Malcolm. You
Rest
were
in
the
peace,
best.
I meant.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We'll return.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Souchere.
Scandal-plagued Omar Fateh
Come on.
is running for Minneapolis mayor.
Okay.
Bill Glahn took a look at Omar's past 4 years. Since 2020, Omar has represented the South Minneapolis District 62 as a DFLer. He also holds membership in the Democratic Socialists of America. The DSA endorsed 4 of the current members of the Minneapolis City Council. All 13 city council members will be on the ballot in November of 2025. Minneapolis maintains something resembling a two-party system, but instead of Democrats and Republicans, it's Democrats and socialists. Isn't that something?
Something to look forward to, huh?
It really is. Good luck to you over there, although I don't live in any better spot. As Glahn mapped out the city's political landscape back in 2023, the far left, including DSA members, hold a 7-6 majority over the less left on the council. The far left, Fateh, has racked up an impressive number of scandals in his short political career. City Hall reporter Dina Winter, now with the Minneapolis Star-Tribune, documented many of them back when she wrote for the Minnesota Reformer. And so maybe these were in the Reformer, but not the Tribune. Questions have been raised about the conduct of the Democratic Party endorsement process. The Sahan Journal quoted Senator Hayden at that time. This process has been very flawed, Hayden said. I'm really concerned about voter integrity. And you got in May when Feeding Our Future scandal broke out, it was revealed that Senator Fateh had to return 11 campaign contributions totaling $11,000 received from individuals linked to the case. It was also reported that Fateh had been a public supporter of the embattled food charity. Last summer, Fateh, that was in 2021, attended a public event with Feeding Our Future Executive Director Amy Bach and criticized the State Department of Education's decision to pause funding of the food fraudsters. In a video last summer, Fateh stated that he met with state officials about the state's action to pause the funding. That video, posted on YouTube by Zog Mal Media, a local independent Somali news outlet, was removed from public viewing one day after the search warrants became public. I don't know what this... Zogmal Media is operated by Muhammad Noor, who would later become defendant number 49 in the sprawling feed fraud scandal. By my count, meaning Glahn's, Fateh accepted campaign contributions from at least 10 people who were later indicted in the case. In his first run for the state Senate, Fateh raised $100,000 in campaign donations. Curiously, no reports from that era are publicly available. It was Fateh's involvement with a different Somali outlet, Somali TV Minnesota, that first landed him in front of the state Senate Ethics Committee. And according to the Sahan Journal, he must undergo training for failing to disclose payments he made for online campaign advertising, a state Senate committee declared. This goes on and on. I think the Somalis have a different view of money than we do.
I think so, and how you acquire it, and how.
I mean this. I don't mean this cruelly. I think what the Somali view of the money is, I'm going to get some.
There's a big pile. There's a big pool of money over there.
There's a pile of money, and I'm getting mine.
I got to get mine. Yep. I agree with you.
It could be from a survival instinct created by living in a war-torn, corrupt nation. I mean, it just could be a million reasons, but there's money there.
I need it.
I'm going to get some.
Right.
And if these people are dumb enough to give it to me, I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
As you're reading Bill's piece on
Bill
him,
didn't say that. I'm saying this part.
Oh. Well, the stuff you did read, I heard, and I'm trying to follow along on the Star Tribune piece from today.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Joe. I think we're talking about two different candidates. Those things were briefly kind of mentioned at the end, but
Yeah.
they were all hung on other people's.
Yeah, sure.
His brother-in-law, campaign volunteer, a campaign legislative aide. Fate wasn't guilty of any of that stuff. It was other people, Joe.
Does the Star Tribune mention the ethics complaint filed against him in 2023 when Fate referred to his Republican colleagues in the state Senate as white supremacists?
Are you making that up?
No.
I'm not seeing that. Maybe I'm blind.
He really declines to comment on a lot of things.
I must be blind, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, I hope for the sake of Minneapolis that he wins. You guys deserve.
How about this? In only his second term in the Senate, Fate has risen to become chair of the Higher Education Committee. In the normal run of things, he would be up for re-election in 2026. Fate was not on the ballot in 2024. During his Senate tenure, perhaps Fate's biggest claim to fame has been his leadership of the rideshare Uber Lyft driver movement. Fate was the Senate sponsor of the bill passed to regulate driver pay. His mayoral website contains little information about Fate's plans for Minneapolis. Apparently, there's a news conference tomorrow, perhaps. Is it tomorrow? When was this? Yeah, or today. Apparently, there's a news conference taking place today that could shed some light on Omar's plans for Minneapolis. I bet they're great. I bet they're wonderful.
From what I can tell, again, this is the Star Tribune piece. His goal is to agree with everybody on the council because there's 13 Democrats or Democratic Socialists on the council, and they're not getting anything done, and he blames the mayor. So if he's in place, they'll finally get some things done.
Well, they'll get everything done the Democratic Socialists want done.
Well, that's what I mean.
So the fight is over? They're done fighting?
Once he's the mayor, you'll see some things get done.
Oh, there's big changes coming.
Yeah. You won't have any money left.
That town's finally going to pull itself up by the bootstraps and get something done.
Pick yourself up, start all over
These
again.
cities have fallen so far under leftist leadership, they're not recognizable.
It'll be fun.
Is Fry going to, do we know if Fry's running again for mayor? He is.
From what I read, yeah.
You know, it'll be tight whether Fry could beat Fate. Fry has not committed nearly enough financial theft to be appealing to the Somali community.
The GL curse in mind, which candidate are you going to invite on the air?
Well, we'll invite Omar. He won't come on.
Right.
I have
he's
a
afraid
better
he'd
idea.
lose. Because he's afraid he'd lose?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, guys, you're not thinking.
Yeah.
Let's have them both on.
Oh, boy. Then they both lose.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Worth a try.
Only because they come to us.
Is it that time already?
These are questions for Patrick because Monday Night Sports Talk is next. Okay.
Hi, Pat.
Is he in the building? He's in the building.
Yes.
He is.
It was on this day, and these are brought to us from the traveling Lymans, by the traveling Lymans who are in Cleveland, Ohio.
I love Cleveland.
It was on this day,
December 2nd.
1857. The first state legislature convened 5 months before Minnesota was admitted to the Union. Despite its questionable legality, the session passed over 90 laws and elected Henry M. Rice and James M. Shields as U.S. senators. The pair traveled to Washington, D.C., and waited for statehood to become official so their terms could begin. It was on this day
Today, December 2nd.
the term Land of Lakes was first applied to Minnesota in the St. Anthony Falls newspaper, the Falls Evening News. And it was on this day,
December 2nd.
Clever.
in 1884, Faribault's Waterworks passed their operations test, and the system was accepted on December 31. I don't know what that means. Did they have faucets then, do you
I
think?
think they were making the
Flush a toilet, maybe?
tilt-a-whirl.
Huh?
Indoor plumbing.
Indoor plumbing I got from the green room.
And from, well, never mind.
And finally, on this day,
December 2nd.
in 1993, Theater Mu, M-U, Minnesota's first professional Asian American theater company, presented its first full-length production. The play, called Mask Dance, detailed the experiences of Korean adoptees in Minnesota.
Wouldn't a better name for that theater been the Paris?
The what? The Paris.
No.
Theater Mu.
Remember the Palace sign? The Palace, I asked earlier about theaters being named the Palace,
Yeah.
and they say the Paris.
Kyle, can you erase this part of the show, or is it too late?
I drive a Lincoln.
A rink and a cataract.
That's right. We can't do that anymore. We can't stop the show and erase stuff.
I can stop it on a dime.
Goodbye.
Hit the music, Kyle. Let's go.
Wait, don't sign off.
Stop the music,
Royce's got a
Kyle.
question.
Stop.
Okay, hey.
Where do you rate being able to poop inside as one of the great improvements in America?
Top
Oh,
of
let's
the list.
save that
of
for
my
the
list.
town. We should save that for the
Half
town
this country,
council.
half this world still poops outside.
That's right. That's the difference.
Yep. I think it's
good
a
hump
wonderful
to get
thing.
over, isn't it?
Right.
That's a good hump to get
I
over.
What
approve.
makes this a great country?
I approve.
And why not poop inside while listening to the town council?
There it is.
Join
I have
us
many times.
every day.
Many
This
times.
show.
They go
Why not?
together so well.
And you could be wearing your new GL t-shirt from the Gumption County Gift Shop. Thank you to all of you that bought stuff over Black Friday. You're going to get it very soon. Thanks to Taylor and Tanner and Tyler. And we will be back tomorrow. More from Gumption County and Garage Logic and the Mayor.
Tuesday.
Thanks for joining us.
How about those Vikings?
Woo!
How about those Wild?
Yeah.